So this is going to go live right on into YouTube. Yeah, so I'm using a tool called OBS. It doesn't really matter who I have on, like the Zoom part actually doesn't matter. All set on up. So we've got about 44 seconds, and let me see if I can print off my thingy in a lot of time. Print, 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 file print. There we go. See if that little thing over there turns on. Slowly turning on. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Welcome, you guys. It is Monday. So excited to be here with you. Monday, May 23rd. And we've got some exciting news for you. But before we share that, today we're going to be talking about the 10 top skills that you need as a tutor in order to be successful. This is exciting, exciting stuff. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, today I am joined with Michael Gibbon. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Joanne. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. Now, we've been working on something behind the scenes that
Mhm.
nobody really knows about. We've kind of been keeping a tight lid on this. I think Beth might know, but other than that, I think everybody else does not know, which is really exciting. But Michael and I are going to be doing a training, a leadership summit that is going to be for tutors who are professional freelance tutors and for tutors that want to scale their business and add tutors to the mix. Two separate trainings, same day. Super excited for about that. And we are going to put a link into the chat in a little bit. Otherwise, there is a link that you can go to. If you look at the description, you'll see a link right there that you're able to click to. So awesome, awesome stuff. But today we're going to be talking to you about those soft skills that you need in order to be successful. And I was actually taking a look at a different study that was done by Harvard University that 85% of on the job skills that you need are based off of these skills. And I thought, you know, there are a lot of people that do not have these skills. We see them every single day when we go to the grocery store, when we go to, wherever it is, you see people who are just, they don't have these skills. For example, we went to the grocery store yesterday and we wanted to be able to get like a couple of brats right from the back. So we pushed the little button and we see a guy walking in the back. Just he sees us. He made direct eye contact with us and never came out. And then when he came out,
What?
he was so like huffy, like where they're like you're totally bothering them. He pulled out his cart, he put it down, and then he's like, all right, let me take okay, who's first in line? And like
Wow.
I just very like obviously we're bothering this man by ordering. But at the end of the day, what happens at that counter is the number one thing for that business. It doesn't matter if you're continually have everything stocked, right? And ready to go and everything is perfect in the back room. None of that matters if you don't offer a good customer service experience, right? And that's what he was doing. I could tell that he was a very quick worker, a very fast worker, a very efficient worker, but guess what? None of that mattered at the end of the day because the only thing the customer remembers is how I felt like I was wasting his time. So we don't want to have that happening inside of our own businesses. So today,
Mhm.
Michael and I are going to be talking about these top 10 skills. Are you excited, Michael?
Oh, I am so excited to be here, Joanne, and yeah, and partake in sharing these soft skills and some of the ways to help tutors with their and same with ourselves with
Yeah.
continuing to help our tutoring businesses grow and thrive. Because, like you said, we've been in places before where we've seen people who the soft skills are just not there, and people are more inclined as well to remember a negative experience than a
Right.
positive one.
Right.
And
And we
that
never
really that
know where
carries.
that is. We never know where that
Yeah,
negative experience could be happening
mhm,
because we see everything from our perspective, right? We're not looking
absolutely,
at it from the customer's perspective, and that's where then we can start to get really really frustrated. So glad that
absolutely.
you guys are joining us inside of the chat. Looks like we've got Robert, I see Lori, I see Beth. Awesome. So glad that you guys are here. And we're going to be breaking down those top 10 skills. Michael, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and tell them who you are?
Sure thing, Joanne. Thank you. So I'm Michael Gibbon of Coach for Tutors. And what I do is I work with private tutors and tutor company owners, helping them with launching and scaling their tutoring practices. So myself, I started out as a classroom teacher. I taught grade 1 for 2 years. And after a couple of years of that, I realized that I really preferred the one-on-one model, tutoring or smaller groups. Just working with that felt more rewarding. And I transitioned into tutoring. And after a year in another learning center, my contract finished there and I went on my own. And what a minefield. I was trying to navigate it and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about running a tutoring business. I feel comfortable as a teacher to tutor, and you're always learning, but I felt
Mhm.
comfortable there. But I was sinking in terms of the business. I didn't know what marketing was and what sales were, and all foundational pieces was that. And so
Right.
really that was really a struggle, and that was part of my journey, was meeting, getting the mentorship and learning the skills I needed to learn. And that really helped turn things around. And that's why it's such a joy to now, as a tutoring coach, to be able to help others with growing their businesses and help make that experience a little less of a hardship that first year and more of a learning journey.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the journey that I absolutely love taking people through as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah,
and here you guys are getting to see like collaboration in its truest
yeah,
aspect, right? It doesn't matter that, Michael and I, we have very similar, passion and drive to be able to help other tutors, which is why we came together to
yeah.
to bring this new training to you and to be here live with you guys today sharing about these soft skills that people need to develop. And we want to see your greatest success coming directly to you. Whether people work with Michael, whether people work with me, whether people work with both of us, at the end of the day, we want to see you be successful. Like who you work with isn't the thing that matters the most to us. It's the fact that you are able to grow the skills that you need so that you can be effective. So, the number 10, we're going to work our way like
Yeah.
backwards here to get to that big number one. But number 10 is work ethic. So, as a tutor that is kind of running their own tutoring business, we do have to have a strong work ethic. I find that that's not the hard part for me though. Like I find that I had a strong work ethic to begin with when I was in the school system, and it transcended into my tutoring business. I was going to figure out whatever it took in order to be successful. I wasn't going to give up. I really cared about this. I was just very naturally a disciplined person. I have my routines in place. I'm reliable. I will show up on time. I actually get high anxiety if I think I'm going to be late. Even if I like message the people like, "Hey, I'm running late." Like I have high anxiety because I like so much of what I do is being reliable. What are your thoughts about work ethic? What was it like for you?
Yeah, that was very similar. Like, I have that anxiety about being late and wanting to be punctual. Being early, I feel is really great. I find with work ethic, it's really about setting your parameters. Think about how you can be efficient within your parameters and give your best self, but also be
Yeah.
good to you as well. And I think that's still a lesson that all of us can learn a little bit and continue to grow in. Is just work smart, work hard, but work smart, and also
Mm.
put forth the effort, your best self, to help your families thrive, your business thrive. But at the same time, think about, okay, what areas can I streamline to make that the
Yeah.
best process?
And that's the part I think that a lot of tutors don't know when they come on in is how can I make my business work better versus me working harder, because
Mhm.
that's not what work ethic is. Work ethic is having that ability to be disciplined and do the things that you need to do when you don't want to. But working smart with your business is okay, like I have a I have automatic payment in place to accept payments, right? I don't have to send out all these individual, invoices and chase my money and spend hours each week or month being able to do that. That automatically happens. I've got a system in place to get their information so that we can take the next step forward. I have a streamlined onboarding process, right? Like all these things
Yeah.
are super, super important. And also automating at the right time. You don't want to automate too much of the customer experience because I think if you try to automate the customer experience, they're definitely going to tell, and it's not going to feel as good. People like working with real people.
Absolutely. And something as well with work ethic is making sure that you have your focused set of goals, be it for the
Mhm.
week, the month, even the quarter. Like have goals. They can always be adjusted and changed, but write them down.
Yeah.
Be it on paper, be it on your computer. Have them check them every once a day. Just go through your goals, or even once a week. Go through those goals because it's if you don't write them down, if you don't put them in place, they're not going to come to fruition the same way
Yeah.
because you won't remember all of them. So
Right.
yeah, just have a plan of action.
Exactly, exactly. And number 9 is creativity. This is what I actually loved, like, because I felt like, and maybe as a first grade teacher, you kind of felt this too, but like everything was so much about like the curriculum and getting things turned in and doing things for
Yeah,
administration. Like I felt like sometimes like my creativity was a little squashed. And when I
yeah,
tried to be creative, um, it wasn't always looked on as a positive thing. There were
yeah.
opportunities for me to be creative, but I feel like inside of my business, I have a lot more opportunity to be creative and to come up with strategies that are going to work for kids that I don't have to stick to this like cookie cutter kind of system. I can go off and be creative and not to the creativity that's going to be like a time suck for me, but like useful creativity. How about you?
Oh, I agree 100%. It just when in the school system, it wasn't that the creativity I didn't feel it was squashed per se, but I felt the crunch of the bureaucratic red tape. Follow this curriculum, make sure it follows these outcomes, make sure it's this and this. Well, not every student and not every group is going to learn that way. They need to, you want to make stuff that's going to be engaging for them. And like you said, you don't want to be doing deep dive many hours a day to make it creative. But think about each student you have as when you're tutoring. Who are they as people? And just make the
Mhm.
tweaks. And you can make those those magic tweaks to make the program you're doing extra special. And you don't have to worry about because parents and guardians love it when you put something together that has that extra special touch. And
Yeah,
whether it's small groups, whether it's one-on-one, it makes things come alive. And
it
in the
really
classroom
does.
setting, you can make things happen, but it's slower and it's more arduous to get there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And here it's like you can make on the spot decisions and follow through on them very quickly.
Yeah.
Number 8 is adaptability. So I feel
Yes.
like I hear people when they say like there's a difference between okay, like let's fill out this contract so everything is, red taped and everything is logistic and all those pieces are in place and if somebody doesn't show up on time then, they know what my policy is. Like these things are important, right? They
Yeah.
are important that we have like our boundaries set, healthy boundaries, but at the same time there's also an adaptability and a flexibility that comes with running your business. So I always let my parents know right out of the gate, hey, the first 3 times that you don't show up, I know that it's not on purpose. Like you're not, things happen. So the first 3 times, we can easily reschedule. It's not a big deal, right? I'm not going to hold it against you. After that, I say though, after 3, I feel like that's a good amount to be flexible with, then you won't be able to make up those sessions. So, I feel like they really appreciate that, and I just kind of I don't really keep track of it. It's an on your honor thing, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not so like headstrong all about that specifically. I do know that reschedules are a part of the online tutoring world. It comes to like kind of
Yeah.
accepting that sometimes kids aren't going to be able to make it to your session.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? That's just one piece. But what are your thoughts about adaptability?
Right. And what I share with like, from my own experience and with others is, I mean, we're in a very heart-centered, human-centric business, and it is a balance between flexibility and contractual matters. And really just taking it on what I would do is I always would have the one-off for any reason. But then if there's cancellations last minute for a really good reason or a valid, for example, we had a student who broke his thumb and had to go to the
Mhm.
hospital. Of course, we're going to exempt that. We're like, of
Right.
course, go and please make sure your son gets well soon, and let's reschedule.
Mm.
Saying that though, boundaries are important. If you have a repeat offender who is like, sounds harsh, but if you have a parent that cancels regularly and says, "Oh, my son wants to go out and just play outside instead of having a lesson," well, then that time comes to have that discussion with that parent
Right.
guardian about,
Right.
well, we do have this in place because we are taking time to set this up.
Yep.
So that's really finding that balance there.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, parents and guardians will remember how they're treated. Students as well, they will remember how they're treated in those
Yes.
situations. So it's so important for us to make sure we're not pushovers, we're not being mistreated,
Mhm.
or not respected for our time, but at the same time understanding where they're coming from and what their situation is, and yeah, recognizing we're all human, and let's
Mhm.
help each other.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, and Beth says she's very flexible with reschedules, and also adaptability comes in need when she needs to
Hmm.
switch an activity in the lesson. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about
Yeah,
that, like, the
yeah,
adaptability, like, for each student that comes, before you, right? Like,
yeah.
okay, well, this obviously isn't working, so what can I do to make it work? And, I think as tutors, that is a really important skill. Sometimes we don't think about how important that is, do we?
Yeah, and it really is. And what's so amazing, and I guess it kind of as classroom teachers moving to tutoring, you're used to, yeah, you adapt for each student the best you can, but again, it's limited just due to time and other constraints. Cookie cutter approaches are not going to work in tutoring for the
Right.
most part, and it's really
Mhm.
about, yeah, you have to think about what worked for student A is not going to necessarily work for student B, and really having a dialogue, not just with the parent and guardian, but have a dialogue with the student. Get to
Mm.
know what they are, what they're feeling, what they need, what their wants are, and that really can help you to plan the best you can, and at the same time you're building those all important relationships that are going to really, that's going to pay the dividends of student success down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, number 7. Now, this is one I know a lot of tutors struggle with.
Yeah.
Time management.
Oh,
They
yeah.
struggled with this though. I don't think that I think for the most part, like if you struggle with time management, you struggle with time management, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's like because you left the school system, you now struggle with time management. I
No.
think it's kind of like something that I think our society as a whole struggles with the most. So whether you're a
Yeah.
tutor or not a tutor, I feel like time management is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with. And I can't say that my solutions to time management are necessarily the best solutions, right? Because it's going to be different for everybody when it comes to this. So, what are your thoughts about time management, prioritizing, scheduling, managing
Yeah.
workloads? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I was I'm one of those people that I would start my day by doing the easy stuff first, or the easy tasks first. But then I got caught kind of down a rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, I'm on my own here. Let's go to Google. Let's go to YouTube. All right. Oh, an hour's passed. Whoops. So the tutoring part, I felt fine with time management wise, give myself those breaks I need, get things going. But the admin part, I found I was having difficulty staying on track and being efficient when I started. And someone had recommended to me, Eat the Frog,
Okay.
by Brian Tracy. So
Yep.
that was very helpful. Just do your most difficult task first, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative task, but just something that maybe is that you're not looking forward to doing. Do it first, get it done, and then the rest of your day is that much easier, and you can really focus, get those easy tasks out of the way much quicker, and you can really become more efficient and, yeah, more well fueled throughout the day.
Yes, and I read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
Yes.
and watched the speaker, that wrote that book really do a really great explanation, and he had a glass vase, and what he ended up doing is he took all these really big rocks and he put them on inside of the vase, and he said, "These are, like, the biggest tasks that you have to do. Would you say that the vase is full?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." And then he comes on in and he takes pebbles and he pours the pebbles on inside and he said, "Okay, would you say that now the glass is full?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then he takes sand and he puts that inside and fills in all the little holes and cracks. And he said, "Would you say that now the vase is full?" And they say, "Yeah." He goes on in and he adds water now to the entire mix. And he says, "Would you now say that the glass is full?" And they say, "Yeah." Now, if he had started the other way, right? If he had started with the water and then moved into the dirt, he wouldn't have been able to have the same effect, right? So it's really knowing like what are the big things that you need to accomplish inside of your business, and then what are the things that you can fill in, right? So once those big things are taken care of, then you take care of the next things, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
I find that that really does work inside of my day when I look at that. Okay, what are the big things that are I must do when I'm working on the things for my business?
Yeah.
And that really, really helps me.
Awesome. And yeah, and I find numbering as well. Just I'll whether it's on my computer or writing it down in a journal, I just make sure to note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just yeah, even numbering your tasks from largest to smallest for the day can really help you to tackle them as well. And I love your example about the water and sand and the pebbles and the rocks. And was that Stephen Covey?
Yes.
The yes, yes,
Yeah, love
excellent.
him. Love him.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. And then I think another thing too is we use the 90X goal planner in our Jumpstart Your Online Tutoring Business Masterclass. And in that goal planner, you have to set out like what is your goal. And you don't have to have multiple goals. You can have like one big goal, right? So let's say like your big goal is to be able to get 20 students for your online tutoring business. Well, every day you need to have associated with that tasks that will help you be able to get that actual student, right? So if you think about 5 actions that you need to take to be able to reach that,
Yeah,
you're going to be much more successful, because otherwise we get sucked into all the little things, right? Like getting this graphic just right in Canva, or working on our website for 6 months versus completing it in 6 weeks at least,
yeah,
and all those little things that they can be so time consuming, but they stop us from the overall goal, which is to be able to get students for our business. So
for sure.
really being prioritized is gonna help. Next is interpersonal skills, and this is really important, I feel
Yeah.
like, for us as tutors, because like you said, we are a people business, right? Like it's not just the relationships with the parents, it's the relationship with the child.
Yes.
Because I find if the child doesn't like you or like the way that you tutor, they will tell their parent, and you most likely will not be working with them anymore. So
Yeah.
it is, those interpersonal skills are huge. What have you found with your business?
Exact same. Yeah. Like if you don't build the rapport and you don't have a really great, you're not in the steps of building a solid relationship, nothing else is going to work. The student's not going to want to work with you. They're not going to be motivated to work with you. Then you can't even get to the academic piece or any of that other stuff, because you're not, if the confidence piece and the rapport is not there, nothing else can scaffold from it.
Mhm.
And but for students, get to know their interests, get to know who they are a little bit, and also understand some students are not going to be as verbal as other students. Some are going to thrive more if you maybe have them draw their interests, you would get them if you're doing in-person tutoring. I used to get the kids a little from the dollar store. Let's say they love baseball. They give little baseball cards for the first lesson. Hey, what's your favorite baseball player? Here's some cards. Let's talk about it. Just take 10 minutes at the start of the first lesson, and then a few minutes thereafter, just get to know how their day is going. Even just ask them.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And they love that.
Yeah, yeah, even if they give you guys the same answer, don't worry about it. Just the
Yeah.
fact that I skipped this the other day with one of my students, and he's like, "Oh, wait, hold on, hold on. You didn't even ask me how my day was today." And I was like, "Oh, well, let's back up that bus then. So sorry about that. How was your
Yeah.
day today?" Because sometimes, like with him, he likes to like he is one of those kids that likes to like learning is kind of like pushed to the side, and the socializing is more important to him. But at the same time, I started off wrong, and he let me know like that is not the way we start our lessons.
Oh, and you know what? And they recognize that too. They're like, yeah, for yourself, Joanne, and like for myself and others, like they'll recognize these people genuinely care about me. So let's take that social time, because the social time, the 10 minutes of social time and the 50 minutes of teaching, for example, is so much better than a 20-minute tug of war that goes
Yeah.
nowhere.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, make
Right.
magic happen. Just get to know who they are. And
Exactly.
even if they just say good, it's a
I don't
start.
I don't know. It's a good and some people that's just how they are. That's okay.
Yeah,
You just
that's
go with
okay.
that. And if you want to ask more details about that, you could say, "Tell me more." Or you can,
Exactly.
something open-ended, or what was the best part of it? Just ask a couple more questions, get a little bit more out of them, and that's okay. On the next one, before we go into the next one, though, I want to tell you guys we are doing a special training, and it's all leadership skills. We have a level 1, a level 2, and both. This is going to be June 13th, where we are going to, Michael and myself, we are going to be working with specifically tutors that work with students themselves. We call these professional freelance tutors. And then the second training is specifically for people that want to scale their business and they want to add tutors to the mix. The different situations that you guys encounter inside of your business, we're going to be going through them with you, and you're going to have solutions, magical solutions to every single one of those different kinds of situations. How do you handle them? What do you do? So that you feel confident as you are working with your students. So there is a link inside of the description. All you have to do is find that link and you'll be able to sign up for the right one, or even both of them. You get a discounted rate. And if you type in the code LEAD, LEAD, you will get $5 off before June 1st. So we have an early bird coupon for you if you decide to sign on up. All right, number 5 is problem solving. All right, problem solving. Oh my gosh. Somebody asked me one day, they said, Joanne, were you always like solution oriented? And I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't know if I was always solution oriented, but I do remember that I had a principal who said, whenever you come to me with a problem, make sure you have a solution as well. And I thought that was really cool. I'm like, I love that. And so I took that with me everywhere I went afterwards. I was like, yeah, if I'm going to come up with a problem and I can see the problem, then I need to also be focused on the solution to that. And her advice really stuck with me for the rest of my life. How about you?
Yeah, like I think for myself with my own principle, it was really problem solution, but also think of ways to be proactive. If it comes up again, how can you be proactive? And
Mhm.
so that also stuck with me as well of, okay, well, if, because we're going to encounter a whole plethora of situations as we grow as, edupreneurs and as educators, be proactive. Think of, okay, how can I navigate this situation in the future? And that'll make it more effective in your problem solving and analytical skills as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and as you are building your business, things are gonna happen, right? And so
Hmm.
you have to be able to think on your feet of, "Okay, how do we solve this?" Like, you log into Zoom and the parent, all of a sudden, there's no sound on there. What are you gonna do, right? Like, these
Yeah.
little things really do happen inside of our business. They're not made up scenarios. They're, like, real scenarios. That's what I
Yeah.
love about the training and the leadership that people are gonna be learning about.
Yes.
We're gonna get to hear all these different solutions to it. Number 4 is teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
You got it. Absolutely.
And
No,
this is really important too with those tutors that are beginning now to scale up their business. I mean, independent tutors, you need to have teamwork with the parent and the student. But as you hire tutors, you now are building a team that is delivering a result. And so you've had experience with this. Tell us about that.
sure thing, Joanne. I mean, for myself, I mean, definitely a learning curve to go into that new role. And like I could say to tutors, be good to yourself with that and just give yourself that room to grow. And when you are hiring tutors, come at it from the side of two-way street communication. Office is always open. Let's talk. Let's connect. Build those relationships, and really your active listening. Really take time
Mhm.
to listen, and that's really going to be the big part. Is going to be listening. You'll be doing some speaking, but it's really about listening and figuring out, okay, what is this tutor's needs, and how can I help them to best professionally develop? And that's
Yeah.
something that, yeah, is a big part of the learning journey for that. And with teamwork as well, the cooperation piece, and just, yeah, making it collaborative as much as you
Yeah.
can. And at other times you might have to be more of the, okay, we need to do this and this, but it's really about the collaboration and, yeah, just
Yeah.
listening.
It's not just about bringing in recurring income from selling time where you're not teaching people. It is
Exactly.
developing a really good team that they not only want to get really great results with their students, but they want to get great results for the entire company.
Yeah,
It's when you can build that, it's going to do amazing things for you. And then number
absolutely.
3 is having a positive attitude. I mean, this is huge. I mean, I know that I know that it seems kind of obvious, like you should be enthusiastic, you should be smiling, you should be cooperative. But some people don't see it as that. If they've had a bad day, they bring their bad day into work with them. And that is not going to help you run a successful business. It's almost like you have to leave that on the table or leave that at the door, shut the door, and then like put on your game face.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And with that positive attitude too, because like we're all gonna have different emotions at different times. And what I found helpful, if I was having a really rough day, was just take a minute or two, deep breathe, just refocus yourself, reset yourself before going on to an online Zoom meeting, or if you're going to be going to an in-person, take those couple minutes to really gather yourself and then just go in your best self, because those students, they look forward to seeing you every week.
Me
Those
too.
parents and guardians, they're excited to have you there. And so just continuing to put that best foot forward. And yeah, but also be good to yourself too. If it's really at a point where you're really, something really upsetting has happened and you're really just can't give your best that day, take that day for you as
Mhm.
well. And that's
Yeah.
okay, because we're all human and that's totally all right as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And leadership skills are number 2, you guys. This
Yes.
is what we're gonna be diving more on into in our training, but a lot of people don't take the time to develop these skills, and if 85% of our job, comes down to these skills, it is so important for us to realize that we do need to develop these skills, and it's
Yeah.
something that we continue to need to get training in because we can always improve upon them. And the very last one is, drum roll please.
Communication.
Communication! Yes,
Yeah.
communication. At all stages, you need to be communicating with your students, your ideal client, what's going on, how are things going. It's not a complaint about their child time, because I can guarantee you, if you are coming at it from complaining about their child, they're going to find a different tutor, because they want to
Mhm.
know, like, you're to be the hope for them, right? If you're the hope for them, you need to communicate in a way that's extremely hopeful. Like, you need to see what the child is capable of and what they're doing, and be able to present that in a way as, this is what we're working on. This is the big end goal here that we're trying to get to, right? And when we can speak in that kind of a tone, it is going to be such a successful thing. And that is also something we're really diving deep into.
Yeah.
How do you handle those different situations? What do you say? What do you do? How do you communicate them? Do you email? Do you, talk with them one on one? All of those things, we're going to be diving really deep into that in our training on June 13th. So if you didn't have a time to sign on up, definitely sign on up. Early birds get $5 off. Put in coupon code LEAD. Link is in the chat. Anything else you want to add, Michael?
Well, just that, thank you very much for listeners today. And if you have any questions, just let us know, and look forward to seeing you all on June 13th. This has been a very exciting collaboration Joanne and I have been working together on, and it's been amazing, and look forward to, yeah, to having a very fun summit with everybody.
Yeah. Now we just need you. So come on in. Come join us.
Yeah,
It's going to
come
be
on.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. On Thursday, we are going to have Suzanne Davis on, and she is going to be bringing in some of her blogging friends into the mix. And you're going to get to see how tutors are using blogging to be able to get online tutoring students. So you definitely don't want to miss that at 11:30 a.m. Central, and we will see you there.